First up this hour, National Police Commissioner General Fannie Masemola is expected to take the stand today at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. This is before the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. Now, the commission, known as the Madlanga Commission, was established in July following explosive claims by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that senior officials, including political figures, were meddling in police investigations and suppressing case dockets and facilitating organized crime. Here's Canny Maphanga, who's live at the venue for us this hour. So Canny, there's lots to come today as day 4 gets underway. And of course, General Masemola's testimony comes after the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made those explosive allegations. What's likely to come out of there today?
Good morning to you, Police, and to the viewers at home. As we edge closer to that start of day 4 of the Madlanga Commission, we expect that General Fannie Masemola, that is the top cop of the South African Police Services, to take the stand and essentially assist this fact-finding probe to establish the hard facts regarding these allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. Now, we've seen from the top cop, that is General Masemola, that throughout this ordeal, since it was made public in July, he has always seemingly remained a neutral stance, and we haven't really gotten a definitive statement from the general. Now, under oath, we'll be able to see whether or not he takes a particular stance, whether he gives the hard evidence that will bolster Mkhwanazi's evidence, because we expect that in phase 1, Police, at the very least, these are witnesses that are going to come and join the dots and close the gaps for General Mkhwanazi, that is Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, regarding his evidence of the alleged interferences and, of course, this alleged organized crime syndicate that is operating within the criminal justice system. So at the very least, we expect from what Mkhwanazi has presented before this commission, that at least Masemola will be providing that picture that will essentially attempt to close the gaps for the commission as they try and establish the facts surrounding these very serious allegations that have serious implications if to be proven to be true. But to analyze this further, I am joined by Prof Rakubu, criminologist here in Pretoria, to join us further on this issue of the general coming into the commission to give us evidence. Now, I've stated earlier that the general, General Masemola, has always maintained a neutral stance between the various parties within SABC, where you're seeing the divisions between different units, different leaders of different ranks in SABC. He always seems to remain neutral and not carry a position. Of how much assistance could he be this morning when he takes the stand in assisting the commission in establishing what Mkhwanazi has painted before the commission and assisting it with establishing the facts?
Good morning to the viewers. As the leader, he had to remain neutral, looking into the explosive allegations for stability within the organization, which is the SAPS. He had to remain neutral, not to show which side. But today, he has an opportunity to come or to rebuke or to validate these explosive allegations. We might have an opportunity to hear from him regarding the disbandment of this political tax team. What is his understanding around the disbandment? Was he consulted? Because it's an allegation that he might not have been thoroughly involved or informed. But today there's an opportunity to highlight if he was informed and thoroughly so. And we're going also might have an opportunity to get to know of the transfer of or removal of the dockets. We're also going to have an opportunity possibly to tap into nature of the instructions from the political leaders. To what extent were the instructions and what was the nature of these instructions? And again, communication and documentation will have to come in handy here, because we'll need memos, we'll need instructions or letters as proof, because remember, the purpose of this commission is to analyze evidence. Yes.
So what does that mean for the operational head for the South African Police Services, that is the National Commissioner, if it is found to be true that the instruction to disband the political killings task team, or the decision rather, was taken from a ministerial head and communicated to a provincial head of operations after the fact? What does that mean for the structure of the South African Police Services if a ministerial head can come into operations and make such decisions without consulting its top cop?
It will mean and it will confirm issues we've been highlighting around the abuse of powers from the executive, from the minister, who normally utilize their executive powers and to undermine the commissioners in this case. But then he has to come up with to provide evidence if indeed he was not informed. There should be letters, there should be emails, there should be communication that suggests that he was not involved or thoroughly informed, because ideally, according to the Constitution, Section 207 clearly specifies what the minister should do and how he should execute his roles, and what are the roles and responsibilities of the National Commissioner, because the National Commissioner should have been part of the decisions from the beginning to the end, and the National Commissioner, of course, would have thoroughly informed or engaged the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner. We wouldn't have been talking about the disbandment coming as a shock. Yeah.
And do you think on his part there was a lack of decisiveness in dealing with this particular issue for it to get to an extent where a public media briefing is made? Because General Mkhwanazi made it clear that he attempted to make contact with the minister first, with the National Commissioner first, prior to heading towards this drastic step of placing these revelations in the public domain.
I wouldn't say he lacked decisiveness in all of this. I understand the politics around the decision to now involve South Africa, because Mkhwanazi took us to 2011, where Fannie Masemola was not the National Commissioner at the time. So you can imagine some of the issues have nothing or had nothing to do with the National Commissioner. Frustrations around investigation or crime fighting mechanisms in South Africa, some are beyond the National Commissioner, according to the decision to involve South Africans, because he was very precise to say we are frustrated, and meaning that as he's frustrated, it suggests that even the National Commissioner is frustrated, because there would have been a stand, there would have been a decision from the National Commissioner's side. Lack of that suggests that he might also be, but let's get an opportunity today to verify if he was indeed frustrated.
Indeed, thank you very much, Prof Rakubu. A lot of questions for the General Masemola to answer regarding this political killings task team, a number of the decisions that were made relating to the PKTT. Was he part of that decision-making process? Did he know what Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was facing at the time when he went and made that public briefing? All of that and more we expect for him to answer, and whether he will take a stance or not regarding this very sensitive issue that threatens national security in the country. But of course, we're watching this story from many vantage points, as my colleague Ayanda Nyathi loves to tell us. Let's cross over to him in our satellite studio for more.
Canny, thanks very much indeed. And the to use yet another cliche. Hopefully, visuals commissioners usually is people like to use heavy. Where's the crown? There would say, and I think something to that about just on the shoulder commissioners who continue guiding sometimes very sensitive that's likely.
Okay, we apologize there for that breaking sound. We will endeavor to get Ayanda back on as soon as we've sorted that out. But in the meantime, we will also be reflecting on other stories for you right here on the program. But also, here's a short break coming up while we get that sorted out for you. And coming up next, we'll be chatting with the Yabo Sito, who's watching another story for us with the Department of Science and Technology while we fix that up. Stay tuned.